Hi, I'm Mark from Max Mobility, and today I'm going to show you the techniques you need to know to get the most out of your SmartDrive outside. Let's go.
So turning with the SmartDrive is the same as turning without the SmartDrive. You simply lightly brake on the side you want to turn towards and your wheelchair will go that way. So with the SmartDrive powered, it'll kind of feel like when you're coasting downhill and you're turning into a turn. So the SmartDrive is keeping you going even when you're on a level surface and you're turning around a corner. Let's take a look. So another way to turn with the SmartDrive is to brake with the inside hand and push with the outside hand to get around the corner. Cross slopes or side slopes are everywhere. They allow water to drain off of sidewalks, parking lots, and driveways. Without a SmartDrive, cross slopes can be difficult. But with the SmartDrive, cross slopes can be very easy. Let's take a look. So with the SmartDrive turned off on a side slope, I have to continually push with my downhill hand to keep going straight. Otherwise, the chair will turn and fall down the hill. So with the SmartDrive turned on, you simply give it a push, brake with your uphill hand, and the chair will go straight while on a cross slope. So when you're turning with the SmartDrive, it's important not to turn too sharp or too quickly for the environment you're in. You'll know if you're turning too sharply or quickly because you will lose traction and start to drift into the corner. The trick is hit the button, stop the motor, and push at a more reasonable speed for that corner. The SmartDrive has small rollers on the wheel which allow it to smoothly float over surfaces. However, you need to be careful so it doesn't get caught on things like curbs or small sidewalk cracks. So be careful when you're turning. It's better to think of it like a railroad track and go diagonally up and over the bump and not turn directly into it. Pushing up into a van can be tough. With the SmartDrive, it's easy. However, it's important to practice. The best way to climb a ramp is to go as slow as possible. It's a very confined space and you don't want to get into trouble. From the base of the ramp, push as slow as you can to engage the motor and then allow it to do the work. Once it gets all the way in, you want to press the button and power it off. Climbing a ramp with the SmartDrive is simple. Pick the speed that you want to go up the ramp with that first push and be ready to stop at the top. So first push, get a nice comfortable speed, and then be ready to stop at the top of the ramp. It's always safest to turn off the SmartDrive before going downhill. That way you don't accidentally activate the motor and find yourself in trouble. That way you can easily stop at the end of the ramp. If you forget to power off your SmartDrive before going down a hill, it's important to know how to keep it from turning on. So, the SmartDrive is sensitive to acceleration. So the trick is to not accelerate and go as slow as possible at a nice even speed all the way down and brake to near a complete stop before the end just to be safe. So when starting on a hill with the SmartDrive, feel free to start sideways to the hill so you can rest and get ready. Once you're ready, turn into the hill, give it a first push, and then you can do successive pushes to get to the speed you want to climb the hill at. So turn into the hill, give it a push, let the SmartDrive start to go. If you want to go faster, push a little bit faster and climb the hill. If at any time you need to stop, the SmartDrive has anti-rollback, which keeps you from going back too fast. Just grab the rims, do another push, and get going again. Two things you should know about when using your SmartDrive going through doorways. The first one is how to negotiate over the door threshold or that bump that's inside the doorway. And the second one is what to do in case anti-rollback fights you and makes it difficult to roll backwards. So the trick with the door threshold is to lean back a bit and allow your casters to float up over the door threshold smoothly. If the anti-rollback comes on while you're going through the door, just pause, it will turn off and allow you to freely go through the door. It's important that you pay attention to things like sidewalk cracks, roots, and obstacles while you're cruising in your SmartDrive. If you're not careful and you hit one hard enough, it can dump you out on the ground and you can get seriously hurt. So pay attention, watch where you're going, and do whatever you can to minimize the impact of those cracks on your travel. So the trick with cracks is 1, know they're there, and 2, get the weight off your casters so they can float over the crack. So as you approach the crack, you want to lean back and give it a little bit of a push so that your casters float up and over the crack. It's important that you know your limitations and the limitations of the SmartDrive. If the crack is too big, the SmartDrive's not going to help you and it may get you into trouble. It's best to deactivate the motor, negotiate this thing manually, and then get under power again. While the SmartDrive will allow you to drop off curbs and climb curbs, it doesn't help you do either one of them. So it's best to turn the unit off before you're going to do that. That way you don't accidentally turn it on when you do a wheelie before dropping off a curb. It's important that you protect your SmartDrive while you're traveling. Otherwise, someone could mishandle it, drop it, break it, and you're out for the trip. So, if you're getting into a cab, transfer in normally, and then tell the cab driver how to take the unit off and have him hand you the drive unit and battery, put it in the front with you. You don't want it in the trunk, rolling around, possibly getting broken. If you're traveling by plane, use your SmartDrive just like normal. Ride all the way down to the door of the plane, transfer onto the transfer seat, and then ask the attendant to take the SmartDrive off, and the SmartDrive will go in the overhead bin next to your luggage. And the SmartDrive does have a lithium-ion battery, but it is compliant with all airline regulations. Happy travels.
So now you know everything you need to know to get the most out of your SmartDrive outside. So be careful, have fun, and from all of us at Max Mobility, thanks for choosing SmartDrive.